Hello, and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. My name is Dave, and I will be your keeper of arcane lore for this session of Call of Cthulhu. Today we are continuing our live play of the Two-Headed Serpent, and you can get your own copy of this campaign from Chaosium.com. You can also find all of our VODs collected together over on the Chaosium YouTube channel, along with a bunch of interviews and other live plays. If you're watching there and you want to join us live, we do stream each week at 3 p.m. Pacific, and we do also have a recurring RuneQuest game, which happens on, it's Mondays over in the States. Now, this week, we are going to be taking a break from the RuneQuest games. That won't be happening on Monday, and instead, we are going to be hosting a pre-recorded Call of Cthulhu live play, pre-recorded Call of Cthulhu actual play run by Mike Mason, where he takes a cast of new players through Call of Cthulhu and introduces them to it for the first time. So that's going to be on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific, and it's got the likes of Omar, Najam, Todd Stashwick, Harley Kane, and KP of KP Studios. So definitely tune in for that and check out how it goes. I'm sure it all ends in bloodshed and disaster. Madness, insanity. It'll be great. Thank you to Roll20 and Sirenscape for being tools we use to improve our games. And without further ado, let's return to Bingham, Oklahoma, where our heroes currently reside. As we meet each of you, the morning has broken, breakfast is being served, and you have all of maybe 5 minutes to get out of your bed before bang, 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 bang. Pans will be smashed and you will be hauled bodily from them. Let's meet each of our heroes. Art, would you like to kick us off?
Hi, I'm Art. I barely remember who I am today, so we'll see how this goes. I believe that who I am is Art, and who I am playing is Lieutenant Ares Carter. And both of them are tired, I think. I think from an interrupted night's sleep, if I remember correctly. There were some drunks, some rowdy raconteurs in the night. And therefore Ares is just a little bleary-eyed, which actually might just be Ares in the morning anyway. Who knows?
Yeah. Normally have to get up earlier so you can get the coffee and present the, no-nonsense self. Do you have fluffy slippers?
I feel like that was Seb's thing, so I kind of don't want to double up with Ares. I think Ares is just like, I am a morning person because I spent my life in the military, but I am not a morning person in as much as if you try and talk to me very early in the morning, you will get very short replies until I've had some sunlight.
Yeah, and a chance to take in the beautiful town. Well, speaking of a little bit of sunlight, Jackson.
I'm Jackson, and I'm playing Dr. Samuel Taylor Thompson, aka Dr. Sam, who has had a reasonably good night, I think. Yeah. Nothing untoward. I think he's a good sleeper, just by nature, because he's so chill. Although he has been keeping one eye on the window, just in case a New Zealand falcon named Lancet comes tapping at his chamber door.
Lancet, who is keeping an eye on your other flying, well, I guess that one's a machine, this one's a bird, and making sure that no untoward local hooligans have a crack at it. There's been no word so far.
Good.
All right, speaking of local hooligans, James.
I'm not a local hooligan. I'm very, very nice. I've got a big heart and a big body. I am playing Hubert, a large man who is incredibly wealthy, has hired a bunch of goons to guard him, but the goons are not gooning right because he fumbled a check to try and get them to goon. And now he is just sort of collecting little insects in a jar and sprinkling them across windowsills to see if he can catch the hotel host snacking on some local delicacies.
That is right. You did very quickly go off the rails. Yeah, so you have a nice big mason jar of honeyed flies prepared for a little bribery or a delicacy of the sorts.
And I would genuinely like to sprinkle a couple along the windowsill so that if I hear a hesitation outside my door when somebody comes to wake me up, I can determine whether a few of them were nibbled on.
All right, perfect. Yeah, you can put a couple around so when the place gets cleaned. Of course, they could also just get cleaned up like a normal person would when cleaning. But you know what? We'll leave the... All right, speaking of dead insects, Alex.
Good morning. Hello. I am Alex. I am playing Wilhelmina Sinclair, and it has just occurred to me when I was talking about Aries being a morning person because they have to be. Minnie is unfortunately, and I had a terrible realization. Minnie's a morning person, straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up. Hyped to be here. Especially today. She's got a job to do. She has figured out some stuff, and she thinks she knows where this is all headed. She overheard a conversation the night before. And is ready and raring to go meet this preacher since she's made a very good impression by playing invalid basically with her strange dreams, and is getting a personal introduction to our dear Reverend.
That's right.
Is really just hyped to do it. So she's up probably half an hour before they even want to start banging on doors, before breakfast even served. She's just sitting there in the kitchen. She's just extremely happy to be here, ready to go. Why aren't the others up yet? Can I have another cup of coffee?
Happy to make yourself known to the other occupants, and also because you were the first awake, because your strange dreams have sort of remanifested once again, and you woke in a cold sweat. You couldn't recall everything, but the only piece of information that stuck with you was being deep under the ground in cool caverns beneath baking hot sun, where there is a crushing presence from both the masses of stone around you, but also something other. No details stuck with it, more just like a feeling of being crushed. So yeah, bit of fun.
Hate that.
Yeah.
That's okay, though it's morning now.
Yeah. And the sun is up.
We're good.
So Minnie makes her way through to the communal dining area where Rosemary is laying out sort of doily tablecloths, and everyone's got a little serviette and bits and pieces, pre-done cutlery. A lot of it has clearly shown signs of age, but it's cared for as closely and as well as it can be. Places are set for the four of you, as well as your two hired goons, the two brothers who are staying here, as well as the pair that you met on the train, the Allens, Mortimer and Lloyd. Slowly people begin to file out, Minnie taking the prime seat next to Rosemary and across from her husband, as the three of you will be the next to join, and Mortimer and Lloyd Allen will be shortly after. The goons refuse to join, and the brothers are not seen either. Breakfast is very functional, sort of a two steps above gruel kind of situation. And in the presence of Rosemary, as well as the Allens, you will be kind of family quizzed about your day and what's going to be happen, what you're going to be getting up to. Oh yes.
No, nobody gets it. Nobody gets a word in edgeways. Minnie is just the whole time. Do you know, I had a wonderful sleep last night. It was absolutely brilliant. I think it must be this town. Being here just seems to have improved my constitution just immediately. I'm so thankful that you were able to take us in. And I know you said you were going to introduce me to the Reverend. Are we able to do that this morning, or is that something that I'm going to have to wait later in the day? Is there anything I can help you with around the house just to make sure that this goes a little bit quicker and easier and we can get out to the Reverend a little bit sooner? And she does not stop.
Rosemary will try and get a couple of words in and say, yes, we can go to the Reverend early in the morning. The service is at midday. I suspect if we get there by 10 or 11, we can help with setting up and get a word in. And as she tries to find gaps for these words, her husband has just reached over to the coffee pot and dragged it away from you and turned it down the table. I guess down the other side of the table, Mortimer at first tries to join in and say what he's saying, and then kind of gives up on that. And then he'll turn to the three of you, Sam, Carter, and Hubert, and say, and what about yourselves then? You're taking in the town. Will you be joining us for service, or
well, I reckon I got to go see the blacksmith. He should have a little bit of space for me to store some of my equipment. I got to get off the train.
I'm a little suspicious about saying anything to the very curious people. So I'm going to play cover by having such a good time eating the lovely food that's being prepared. And I'm kind of with a mouth full and continue to eat my third helping as I am, and use that as a way to try and cover not having to talk.
Okay, fair enough. Lieutenant Carter, you're not pushed too heavily, not from the Allens.
Morning.
Yeah, that's right. I'm
gonna steal that into a ploy. I'm gonna say I'm gonna go see the blacksmith. Someone at the railway station said he should be friendly enough to make some space for me. Is that the case? He should be. Sounds like an amiable chap.
Alan doesn't know anyone, but Desmond, who is Rosemary's wife, the other owner of the Rosemary's husband, the other owner of the inn, will hear it, and he'll speak over the table to say, Blacksmith, don't trust them much right now, right? They're pulling away from the town. They're breaking up community. They're refusing to work with the church and things. You're not going to want to bring anything there. Store it in the backyard. We got plenty of space here. I can find you a tarp or something to put it under. Don't trust them, all right? Those shown bombs, they're nasty pieces of work. Ever since I got pulled out of the church after everything the Reverend did for his wife, shameful conduct.
I'm sorry to hear that. Well, yeah, if you're offering to store it up here, that'd be great. I think I just need some equipment from them to get it off the train, is what they said. But yeah, if you're happy to lend some space, I'll take it. Thank you.
We can find something. Just store it here. That'll do well enough. And he drives his finger into the table, enunciating the point. He will also say, if you're going to the lumberyard to find someone to haul it, speak to George Henson. Fowler, the man who owns it's a drunk and a fool, a known enjoyer of the Deerhead Saloon across the road, and not the type to be associated with. You're new in town. You don't understand the way things work yet, but if you want to keep your reputation intact, it's important you associate with the right sorts of people. So you want to avoid the gentleman as best as possible.
Understood. Thanks for the advice. Do I need a psychology roll for that, or it was pretty on the up and up? It was pretty straightforward.
It stays pretty clear. If you want to get a sense of things, you can make a psychology roll for me. That's all good.
As always. Oh no! I should not have made fun of Jim for all of his thumbfuls last session.
All right, now we're fucking cooking. I think you note that, and then when you sort of you get everything, you get the sort of sense, you get the up and up. You lean back, and I think you shoot a sort of a conspiratorial look to Carter and Hubert, and the Allens catch it. Or Lloyd probably doesn't, but Mortimer, the older man, looks between you and kind of gets the sense that you were fishing for information, that you don't immediately, you look back and you kind of mouth like the blacksmith when you don't think you're being seen, and they just get the sense that you're not necessarily, you yourselves are not on the up and up. As this is happening,
oops,
and before the Allens can comment on anything, you hear footsteps coming down the stairs and across the lobby. They're walking quickly so that they don't get sucked into any conversations. And you'll see a shot of one of the Peace brothers as they get towards the door, and then just as they pull it open, they stagger backwards. You can see them swinging their arms, and he goes, "There's a fucking bird in here!" And then Lancet soars into the room and straight up towards rafters up above to escape the man in his wildly swinging arms. The two owners of the hotel leap to their feet, the chairs scatter backwards, and the husband goes to grab a broom or something, and Rosemary's just shrieking, "Get it out! Get it out!"
I'll also leap to my feet and just kind of wave him down. Here, boy, come on, I'll get him out. It's all right. Yeah.
You rush out,
just head out the room.
Try and get Lancet to join down towards you, but unfortunately, he's kind of trapped up on the upper level, and there's about 4 different people swinging miscellaneous objects up towards him, trying to get him to come down or to bat him out. It's light chaos. Could you give me, I would take either an animal handling roll or something similar to try and grab the bird. Is anyone assisting Dr. Sam, or are you taking the opportunity to grab a bit of toast and head out the door?
I'll get up and help. I feel like I can be a wall in this situation.
Block a few people. You could just start holding people back from.
Yeah. I'm doing that thing that everyone does whenever there's a bird flying around. We just kind of hover, going like this, not really doing anything, but it's helping, sort of. Somehow.
I got 5 animal handling and 20 jump.
Okay, are we going for jump?
I think I might have to.
The other one, you could try and just persuade everyone that, no, that's my bird. It's a good bird. It's a normal bird. Yeah. It's not the sort of bird that destroys upholstery.
I guess so. For some reason, I thought we had to travel incognito. And,
Are you trying not to know? You don't know the bird?
I don't know this bird.
I've never seen that bird before in my life.
It's got a little name tag. It's weird. You could. This would possibly be associating with the bird, and then when it's seen peering through people's windows and.
Well, more than like if word is followed about us to this town, watch out for four folks and one with a bird.
Traveling bird, yeah, it would be defining.
But that's going to go better than my 20 in jump. I guess I'll call out the chaos. It's all right. This is my mate. It's my little fella. It's my little fella. It's all right.
You try and your voice cuts over. The Allens, Mortimer sort of got his son behind him. The two Peace brothers take the opportunity to slide out the front and drop down onto the veranda and out into town. You see that they're wearing like very scuffed jeans, torn over the knees. Their boots are long and unlaced. The one with the eye patch has. You see the scar descending down behind it, and the other brother has what looks like a small rucksack or something slung over his shoulder, as if they're going like day tripping or something. Like you'd expect maybe they're like gonna resupply and things and then like go for a little wander somewhere. More supplies than you would need just to walk the town is all. They take this opportunity to slip out the door and away. Dr. Sam, can you give me a persuasion roll, please? Okay. All right. Is it the confidence of an ex-military man that you're able to bellow an order or two, or do you pick you get everyone one-on-one and you go, it's fine, just chill.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I think it's the military bellow, but also like he's got such good vibes. It's like a bellow in a calm way. I don't know how you can do it, but he does it.
You're projecting your vibe check.
Yeah. Whoa. It's like just you can be calm loudly, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe it, but Dr. Sam can.
Yeah. It's enough to bring silence for a moment, and in the peace that ensues, Lancet flutters down and is caught on your jacketed arm. And as your eyes caps, there's a spark, and you understand that someone has arrived at the train station. This is the signal returning. It looks as though things are a little bit in motion.
All right.
As this is happening, Hubert, you're sort of forming a bit of a wall. Lieutenant, Ares, and Minnie, can I get you to both make listen rolls, please, as you're just standing a little bit to the side?
I was going to say I would have taken the opportunity to slip out.
Okay,
I would not be here. Yep.
Do you want to make a stealth roll, or are you happy to just walk out after the brothers?
Yeah, I'm going to walk out after the brothers. I'm hoping that it's something that just isn't noted in the chaos, but I'm happy to make a stealth roll.
That's all good. It's not a massive thing. They'll just look around and go, oh, I guess that is. Yeah, it's not a huge deal. No worries. You slip out. I'm Minnie then.
We're probably used to you just like.
I have no problem with it if the three of you notice that I've gone. It's more like the sort of I'm just taking this opportunity while things are hectic to avoid the immediate notice of our proprietors.
Yeah.
There.
All good. Easily done. Minnie, that's a success. Okay, well done. You hear Rosemary under her breath saying, "And the bird devoured the snake." And then she kind of, it's very low. And then she just kind of, not shakes herself out of it, but she just like kind of takes a moment and then steps forward to Dr. Sam and says, if it pleases you, there will be no pets in the hotel. I'll ask you to take your bird elsewhere.
Understood. That's entirely reasonable. I do apologize, madam. We'll head out for a walk right now, I think.
Yes, thank you. And you step outside with Lancet on your arm. What is everyone intending to do? Minnie, Rosemary, it's like 7 a.m., 7:30 or something. It might be, let's call it 8 by the time breakfast is had and everyone mucks about. She will take you to meet with the Reverend at 10:30, 11-ish, so you've got a couple of hours to kill. What does everyone want to get up to during their morning? She's going to be sort of like cleaning around rooms and things in the AM. Library? Perfect.
Train station.
Train.
I think I'm going to attempt to participate in the standard morning culture of the town. So I go on like a constitutional walk, and I'm going to loiter around in the vicinity of the church. I will look for somewhere to get a second breakfast. I'm generally going to try and ingratiate myself with
I
everyone.
love it. Doing
I
the
feel like I'm back in like a language class in high school. I am going to the train station. Where is the library? I will go for a walk. Do you know where I can get breakfast?
I have lost my
Hubert,
pet bird.
you have already have breakfast. I would like a second breakfast.
Yeah, the father of snakes descends upon the earth and will swallow it whole.
No, but it's perfect because there always is like some line that you'll never use, like "and the bird ate the snake," which
Or in the case of the pen of my aunt is on the table.
Yes.
very good.
All right, perfect. So we've got Dr. Sam heading to the train station. Hubert taking in the town and heading to get a little snacky. Minnie to the library. Lieutenant Carter, what's your intent?
My intent was to catch up to the two gentlemen who were going for a walk and engage them in a short conversation.
Okay.
And then we'll see from there.
Okay, no worries. With that in mind, Minnie and Hubert, you are both going to be heading down past the department store and in the general direction of the library, as that's where, Hubert, you'll walk with Minnie for a little bit and then you'll hook around and go down the sort of southern area where there's a bit more things. Lieutenant Carter and Dr. Sam, you're going to be heading in the same direction, as it appears the two brothers are making their way towards the saloon, at first at least. Let's touch in on...
The suspense is killing me.
I know, I gotta figure out how to divvy this. Let's go Hubert and Minnie first of all.
Damn it.
It means things are worse on the other side. Okay. As you head down into the streets, it's early morning and the sun is yet to really set into, melting steel yet, and it's still a little bit cool. You can see people are already out and around. This is definitely like an early rising place. It was fairly quiet when you arrived in the evening, but now there's a few people maneuvering. The store is as close to humming as it probably gets. You can see the two girls that work behind the counters and stocking shelves are moving things back and forth, and there's several people inside doing their daily shopping. This is kind of the place to procure everything. A quick glance through the windows as you stroll past will see light weaponry, like firearms and things, very, very, very basic pieces stocked far behind, and everything like, ropes, shovels, everything an investigator might need for nefarious actions or a normal farming town might need for perfectly legitimate reasons. And there in the center of that Venn diagram, you find Bingham, Oklahoma. Past that, you'll get towards the library, where Minnie will divert and Hubert will hook down and begin to explore the south of the town. The library itself is a very basic looking building. It's quite a small house, clearly repurposed. The only thing that spots it is they have out the front what was once a finely metal-worked sign of a half-open book. There's no title for library, just the symbol. It's clearly done by the Blacksmith, presumably. And inside, as you open the door, you will find stocked shelves piled high, and a fairly actually thorough selection of books, if not greatly organized. As soon as you come inside, it is a quiet place. You are the only occupant, Minnie, although as the door opens, the owner and librarian, Miss Willis, will come down the stairs, clearly not expecting to find anyone here quite this early, or possibly it might not be used often at all.
Possibly at all.
Yeah, exactly. She's sort of like a middle-aged woman, and she's still got her tea and breakfast toast that she was enjoying upstairs, as she comes down and says, hello, can I help you?
Hi, yes, I'm visiting town a little bit, but I just want to make sure that my studies don't lapse. I'm a student, and I would very much like to have a look at any books on theology, particularly Christian theology, but the theology in general, your theology section.
Yes.
If you please.
Yes.
Oh, and are there any specifically local histories on theology or?
Local. Well, we've been around the region for a time, and there might be some writings from an earlier Reverend, Reverend Cornfield himself, the current Reverend, and I presume the subject of your interest, given it's his return to town that has sparked such growth and recent traffic. He has not
Here's
published
why I'm
anything
here.
himself. You're
But I'm a general student of theology, and I specialize in localized theology. So while the Reverend is why I'm here, I'm keeping up with my studies. It's a little broader.
I see. Okay, well that's grand. I'm can't say I've assisted too many students, but if you'll come this way, I'm sure we can get you set up somewhere. How long are you in town for?
Oh, well, as I said, I'm here for the Reverend. I'm here to see the Reverend. So, I as long as it takes, really.
Well, there's a service each day at midday where you'll have a chance to see him speak. But if you want a private meeting, I'd encourage you to head in before or make yourself useful after in cleaning things up and such. Unfortunately, there are quite a few people looking to meet with him, so it might not be immediate. But if you spend enough time, I'm sure you'll get your chance.
Oh, I'm extremely fortunate. I believe Rosemary at the lodgings is going to introduce me today. I'm quite excited, a little bit jittery. So I wanted to make sure that I could get my head straight. And nothing does that quite like books, does it?
Well, how kind of her. Miss Willis has wound you into a adjoining room and cleared some books off what is clearly like her private desk and study. She's pulled out a comfortable chair that is completely covered in like surplus blankets and cushions and things, forming its own small nest.
Like a nest.
She discreetly kicks like a couple of discarded coffee mugs away before you can see them, although you clearly hear them clanging along the ground, and then scuttles some paper aside and seats you down and says, "This is yours for as long as you're in town, as long as you can need it. We don't want to get away in the studies. This is a small locked drawer you can keep your notes in." She reaches down and unlocks a small cabinet, pulls out a few journals with a bit of dust on it. Looks like she doesn't use them, and hands you the key and says you can store your things here if you'd like while you're working on them, just so you don't need to leave the library as more than you need to. She takes those under your arm and says, "And I will return with anything I can find."
Oh, goodness. Thank you so much. What was your name?
Miss Willis, Augusta Willis.
Miss Willis, Augusta Willis. May I call you Augusta? My name is Wilhelmina St. Clair. You may call me Minnie.
And I shall. It is a pleasure to meet you, Minnie, and I hope I can help.
Thank you so much. Everyone's been so lovely here.
She returns with a small pile of books, and these are fairly basic. Now, Minnie herself is not. You are a general student of all things. That is true, but theology is possibly not your focus.
No, theology is my degree.
Oh, it is. Is it actually?
That's how I got that's where my occult school comes from.
Okay.
I have a degree in theology. It's not Christian theology. Minnie's degree is specifically not Christian theology. It's occult theology.
In that case, I totally
but I do have a
walk
theology
that
degree.
back. In that case, you recognize all of it. She brings out a number of Bibles, and there'd probably be some a couple of adjacent religions. Actually, no, there wouldn't. It's just Bibles.
No, it's just Bibles. But that's fine.
Yes, and she'd have a couple of those where she says you're free to study. She can find some local. They would store some old reports of the area, although she would tell you to head down to the Bingham Journal, which stores all of them. Although Baxter, the man who runs it, is an impatient and something of a vicious man. You might find him to be rather soured to your arrival, but best of luck if you do choose to pursue him.
I'll take a friend of mine.
Yes. Do you want to? Can you give me a library use as you begin to pore over these? And is there anything specific you're looking for?
I'm looking for Rosemary's bird snake statement.
Okay. All right. Go for it.
That's what I want to know about.
In that case, actually, do you want to give me a that's gonna be a success. Can you actually give me an occult roll?
I could do that too.
Because I think that's more.
No, I can't do that. I can fumble. That is what I can do.
God. This is
God.
gonna sound like bullshit, but actually, do take a bonus dice. You've got the tools here, and you did succeed the library use roll.
And that makes it hard.
Okay,
Hard success.
that's better.
Hey, that sounded like bullshit.
It did sound a little bit like
It
bullshit.
does sound like bullshit.
I promise you, tweren't. Also, because there's a few key lines, and because as you open it, you will find one of them, which is Miss Willis's personal Bible, like a small pocket one that she would take to church and make notes in, has had ye olde sticky notes put along a one passage, which reads as follows. It's not one for one, but it's close, and it seems to be something of relevance to a recent service. And these signs shall follow them that believe. In my name shall they cast out devils. They shall speak with new tongues. They shall take up serpents, and if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. Them shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. This appears to be a passage that Reverend Cornfield has read from and drawn inspiration from in a recent service. And although it does not mention birds specifically, it talks of holding up serpents and the ability to heal those with those that you touch your hand to.
And it's talking about signs, and it's talking about... Yeah, okay.
And I can put that I will put that, I can copy that passage and put it in the chat as a handy dandy thing.
Handy dandy thingy.
Schwang.
Thanks.
Miss Willis is always within earshot and quick to help. Whenever she hears a book being put down, she'll scurry inside and see if maybe there's another one that she can get for you. She stops 3 times in the hour or two that you're there to offer you tea. And
I have it.
Very good. And
Gotta pee.
And every time this happens, she'll linger long enough to like have a bit of a chat. So that does get in the way of work. But she does ask you a lot about your degree. She asks you about what you're studying, things like that. She's also reasonably willing to gossip about the town and answer questions about it. Is there anything you'd like to talk to her about?
Do you know, the friendlier I get with her, I think possibly towards the end of my visit, you know, do you know Rosemary particularly well?
She's been in town for as long as since I was born. She's older than me, and her husband have run that hotel. Her father ran it before them. So yes, I've met her. She went to school with my mother.
Oh, wonderful. She said something at breakfast this morning, and it stuck in my mind. It was such an interesting phrase. And some of the notes that you've made on the Reverend's recent sermons put it back into my mind about birds eating snakes.
Birds eating snakes.
And the birds should devour the serpent, and it seems relevant to some of the, particularly the passages that have been underlined here, which actually was things that Reverend have been saying. And you know, therefore locally relevant.
Well, I think if as presented in the book, hardly casts a shine on how the Reverend reads the passages and breathes new life into them. But there is a lot of the Reverend has been somewhat inspired by the snakes of the region, by their hardiness and their ability to prevail against all manner of odds. And I suspect that Rosemary may have birds can be predators to snakes, and perhaps if she sees the serpent as the Reverend, and perhaps as the Reverend sees us as his own clutch of eggs, yet more snakes on the dusty soil, mayhaps she believes the birds to be predators to us all. Could be her meaning.
There's nothing in specific that he said. Rather than trawling through the books and trying to find it myself. Not
in one of his services with everyone, but I know he meets regularly enough with those that require special care, and I know also, and she sits down on the table and leans in a little bit more, that he has been known to lead expeditions out into the desert with those that catch his interest and that need more attention from him and God.
Oh,
Perhaps Rosemary's
that's-
gone on one of his walks.
I mean, she is extremely devout, and that is that is so above and beyond this Reverend goes. It's just astonishing, and I can't wait for the service. I can't wait to meet him. Because I was going to ask you if he's inspired by snakes, and if snakes are so important to the region. I would love to know where to find them, but it seems like potentially that might be part of the Reverend's expeditions. But any books on local snakes would be lovely too. If it's important to the Reverend, then it will be important to me.
Local snakes, I can definitely do. And she will fetch you a book on all sorts of slithery, bitey boys, and you can take up on it. She would not wish you to take it from the library.
No, I take notes.
You've been fairly nice, so you probably can nip one or two.
No, I'll take notes.
But yeah, so you can jot down a few things, and by this point it'd probably be about time to leave. All right. Cutting back briefly to old Hudbert, as you leave Minnie in the library and begin to take in the town, you wander south and you will see the church up on its small rise and the cross glinting in the rising sun. Do you wish to stop in there? It looks as though it's not really in operation currently. Although there's a few people sort of lounging about, like, you know, they're waiting for an album release or something. They want to be first in line.
No, I'm not going to queue up to get the latest hot goss from the church. What I'm hoping to do is get a general vibe check of this town. Hubert's been around enough now to know that there's a lot of suspicious things going on, and whenever you walk into a small town like this, I'm always a little personally worried that everybody's mind controlled and are about to shoot me if I get down the wrong corner. Now, already, I don't 100% think that's right, because we seem to have detected some kind of infighting in the town. Basically, what I'd like to do is I'd like to wander around and make a psychology check and get a grand kind of long-term vibe check of the whole place.
100%.
But I'm really bad at psychology, so I was hoping I could bargain a charm check and have the idea that I'm actually talking to people, I'm actually going round, I'm seeing if anyone asks me whether I'm interested in joining a cult or something like that.
Yeah, hey, do you want to read some information, some literature?
I love any pamphlets you have.
I might also get you to make the psychology roll after. Why don't you begin with a charm roll for getting the feelers out and seeing what you can catch.
All right, big city face, big smile, walking down. Let's see if this is another golfing outfit situation, or if I can do a little better.
Far out, dude.
A 98. Oh my god.
Not a fumble.
It's not a fumble, which is very good. Okay, so
is there a push option for this as well?
Yes, there's absolutely a push option. I'll describe a little bit, and then let's see if we can set you up for something really disastrous, or beneficial. We'll see which one comes. So first, the church. You mentioned that you kind of cut past it and you don't spend too much time. You can see there's a few people lined up there ready to go, but it's a little bit out of town. And it's mostly houses around there. So you sort of cut across and head towards the main street, which is literally called Main Street, which will take you back up towards the hotel. And then from there you can meet the others before continuing on your day. Everyone you meet is friendly. They'll all say, hello, good morning, how are you? As you go past, and then never break stride long enough to actually hold a conversation. But it's all seems friendly. It doesn't appear like they don't immediately lock on and go, fresh blood. Come here, come here. Let me preach to you. Let me talk to you about how great this church is. They're kind of wrapped up in their own lives. As you get towards the main street, there are people queuing out the front of the bank. All of them look very poor, and as if this is the sort of last port of call. And I think actually I can see one thing that the charm roll going poorly might be waving money around and it going poorly rather than well. So you could possibly try and help out some people here. You know that with your great wealth, you could have funds wired here that would see, mass, like generally you could enough funds could go out here to like rebuild the town, whatever, and deliver some assistance, but also might go poorly. It might fall in the wrong hands. It might be seen as you know,
I'm totally
bribery.
happy with that.
Wash.
Yeah, exactly. I'm totally happy with that. My other suggestion was going to be that I'm not getting any headway. I pass maybe one or two people. I overhear maybe somebody say something a little overly enthusiastic about either Serpents or the local church. And I double back. I go around the block and pull my jar of insects out of my
you brought
pocket.
it with you?
And yeah, of course I brought it with me. I sprinkle a few on the ground, and like I'm hoping to see if they're going to come past and react. And then I get spotted by everyone in the line at the bank. I look up and there's like 10 people just sort of who think I'm an utter lunatic. Happy to go with either direction.
There is one other option.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're trying to be friendly, right? You're trying to meet people.
Yes.
You know there's a tavern in town. That's not going to get you into any trouble going saying hello to some locals at the
absolutely.
saloon that we've been abjectly forbidden to go to.
Absolutely good with that too.
Yeah. I mean, you could be making your way up towards that as well, and that'd probably be more like accepting the womp here and then trying again at a later date.
Sure. Okay. Well, what fits best? Oh, wise keeper.
Oh, wise keeper. Is there another one? So first of all, as you go past you go past the sheriff station, which is I'll just describe briefly. It's a small building. You can see it would only have the capacity for like 2 cells in the rears that would hold people temporarily. The sheriff himself is seen in his prime position of on the little veranda thing, leaning across over the peeling paint on the porch. He is a very large man in quite ill-fitting clothing. It looks like he's gained weight recently, and it's kind of a little tight around the edges. He has thinning hair, but quite a snappy beard, large and white. And where his thinning hair is raked across his head, you can see his scalp is blistering quite badly as the sun has attacked it relentlessly. His eyes are drooped and hooded, as if he spent all night, either carousing or preventing people from carousing, whichever side of the law he finds himself on. As sheriff, you'd hope one of them. And he's clearly surveying the streets back and forth. He also wears a pistol at his hip, and he's watching people come and go. As you pass him, he will very much take your measure. And actually, this might give you the opportunity for your charm roll. Is with the failure at least, and we'll see if you want to double down on it. He'll call out to you as you go past. He'll go, "Oh there, you big fella."
Plaster a big smile across my face and hurry over.
He waves you across, and then he pulls his belt into position, and he says, "What's your name and business in town?"
Hubert. Nice to meet you. I'm traveling down. I just fell in love with the town. It's a beautiful place, and I will double down on any charm check you give me. I'm desperate to push a roll, so I think I just unload on this guy, really trying to break the ice a little.
Before you roll, so as you begin to don't be snide. You a man of God? You come here to meet with the Reverend?
I absolutely believe in higher powers.
Did you come here to meet with the Reverend?
Yes, well, that's the main purpose of my visit, yes.
You came here to hear him preach, deliver the good word.
I'd very much like to, yes.
Have you heard of his healing touch?
Someone told me about it on the train, that's right.
Do you wish to experience it?
I'd like to think I'm in very good health, but I suppose that'll be the will of God.
He looks down at you. Can you now push that charm roll?
Yep. Coming right up. Roll number 2.
Come on, baby.
Ooh, just snuck it in.
It's right on the edge of... You don't know if he's taking you genuinely or taking you at face value, and then it does appear that you have given the right answers. And he nods, and he says, "Good. The Reverend is doing wonders in this town, and the people he's bringing in are fresh blood." He leans down towards you and says, "It's good you've come. It's good that you're associating with the right sorts of people, and it's good that I'll see you in church this afternoon."
You'll see me there.
And listen, you're new in town. You mentioned you spoke with some people on the train. You hear any whispers All right, you hear anyone talking about issues with the Reverend, conspiratorial sorts of things, you come to me and you let me know.
Okay, I absolutely will. Just, you seem like a man on the up and up, officer, sheriff. Any places in town I should avoid for that kind of talk?
Oh, you better believe it. That saloon is filled with malcontents and people taking issue with the Reverend. They're more like to drink than be in the house of God, and they're more like to tear those that have brought themselves up. They haven't experienced anything. They haven't walked for 40 days and 40 nights out in the desert. What do they know? Nothing. They just want to complain. They just want other ones to help them. And when it's offered, they won't take it. So you avoid them for sure. Understand?
I will do that. Thank you, Sheriff.
Good. Good. And you talk to me first.
Understood. I will get back on my way. I will not head towards the saloon for now. I think I've got enough information that I want to consult with my companions before undergoing any major activities. I'll probably go and hang outside the library with a sandwich.
Okay. You head back up. I will say you will pass. The only thing I want to call attention to is as you go past, there's a small barbershop in town. I know you are a bald-headed man, but are you a bald-headed man by skillful blade or by genetic predisposition?
I'll never tell. I
never
go to the
tell.
barbershop. I even if it's just running a
hot towel
straight razor
or
over
something?
the
Well-
dome, I'll go. Hell yeah.
Even those who are less follically inclined will enjoy a close shave every now and then, surely.
Absolutely.
So as you go past the barber shop, you'll see there is a man standing up front, and he's got that very specific attire with, it's like the big sleeves, and they've got little tie-around bits in it, and I associate with either barbers or people that own candy shops. And this man appears to be a barber, given he's standing in front of one.
Also
He's got-
Banks.
Also Banks, yeah, exactly. He probably runs all three in town. He has a waxed mustache, a very clean cut hair, and as you go past, he does appear to be looking to drum up a little business and failing for the most part. No one is heading inside. So if you want to linger there for a bit, that might be
No, I will go in. I will order because I'm just going to be waiting for Minnie otherwise. I will go in. I order the full service premium shave, everything. I suddenly have an image of Hubert with like brilliantly red curly hair. I think like and a huge bright red beard if he lets it grow out. But for now, I'll get the full works and chat.
Okay, perfect. You can head in and sit down. There are two separate rooms. One is done for men and one's for women. The man, whose name is Ralph Kunkel, begs your forgiveness. His wife normally styles the women's hair and also helps to manage affairs, and she's taken ill of late. But he's confident that he can handle it all just by himself. He sits you down in the chair and begins to ratchet you back, and then as he drapes a hot towel over your head so that you can't see anything and begins to sort of massage your scalp, you hear the door open again and heavy footsteps as someone comes inside. We're going to leave you there for just a little bit and touch back in on Lieutenant Carter and Dr. Sam.
That's me.
That's you. As you both head across. Lieutenant Carter, do you wait for Dr. Sam to catch up, or are you striding off intending to follow the brothers?
I mean, I wanted to catch I left shortly after the brothers because I wanted to have a brief conversation with them. I don't know whether I will be following them or not.
Okay.
But given that I left and then there was a small thing that happened behind, I don't think Sam is too far behind me. So if I see him.
If you were intending to catch them and have a conversation, you can do that before Sam will arrive. If you were sort of following them, they might linger long enough that Sam would catch up.
No, just catch them and have a short conversation. Because we haven't met them yet.
Well, in that case, Dr. Sam is just wrangling his bird and stepping down the stairs as you see the brothers have paused on the other corner of the hotel and are one's got his foot up on a stump and is pulling the strings tight on his shoes so that they hold a little closer, but not actually tying them. He's then just dropping and letting them loose so that with another few steps, they will immediately unravel again, and you'll have to tighten them once more. You can approach. The two are sort of talking amongst themselves.
Yeah, I will approach and say, "Good morning, gentlemen."
Looks up and says, "Eve, morning. You're the other tenant, right?"
That's correct. Yes.
Excellent. Spectacular. Look, we're outside of the hotel now, so I don't really care what Rosemary says. I'm not your friend, and we've got business in town, so kindly jog on. He turns back to his brother, who
That's fine.
does this little and rolls his eyes as if why does everyone want to talk to us?
I was wondering what your business was in town. You seem to be adventuring sorts with that equipment and.
You're wondering what our business is. That's funny. I was wondering what business that is of yours.
Call it professional curiosity.
What's your profession? You're a detective?
No.
Okay, well,
I don't
have to tell you.
Not a detective. I'm a mercenary.
You're a mercenary in
Yes.
Bingham, Oklahoma? What
Yes,
kind of
that's correct.
shit mercenary are you?
The kind that could knock your head off.
The other one kind of rolls his eyes and stands up. Can you give me an intimidation roll as you now kind of...
I'm not trying to actually
But
intimidate
it's
them,
kind of
per se.
threatening. It's getting them to take you seriously. Is how I could do see persuasion as well. Basically, they are very dismissive and outright rude.
Yeah.
I kind of like their chutzpah. You got to respect
too.
it.
Yeah.
Do you want to spend the luck?
What's that?
7 points.
Math.
Set point.
Set point.
Oh, yeah, I have 98 luck. You can have 7.
Okay.
What?
the
What are you
one-
doing with 98 luck?
Holy shit. The brother you're talking to,
Rolled high today. So,
brother you're talking to, which is the one wearing the eye patch and is the one being dismissive, sort of scoffs again and goes to do something. But his brother, who's finished pulling his shoes tight, stands up and gives him a little elbow and shoots a glance at, I don't know, you're not openly carrying a weapon or anything, so maybe it's just the stance or something, and just kind of gives a bit of a, hey man, fucking, we don't need this, all right? There's no point making enemies as well as friends. So he bites his tongue and is no longer openly, not hostile, but an ass, and he instead just goes, look, have fun mercenarying. I don't have to tell you anything, and unless you want to bring me up to the sheriff and have him force me to, I'm not going to. So, good day to you.
You just don't seem to be particularly interested in engaging in this town in the way that everyone else who comes to this town seems to be engaging with it, and I find that interesting.
We're not in a fucking cult. So no, we're not interested in falling on our knees in front of some madman who comes out of the desert and thinks he can talk to snakes. And I don't know why that makes us, and he's he's yelling at everyone, the weird ones.
Oh, I mean,
Wait, how can I do it?
How quickly can we compensate?
Speed. Under. Probably.
Whoa, I'm shifting.
Lost it. Crushed it. There we go. No one even noticed. For context, everyone, Alex has a power outage where they are, so there was a
Planned
chance she was
power
going to
outage.
drop out. So yeah, planned power outage. So we have compensated for us, and we are good to continue.
So he's sorry, he was yelling that doesn't make us the weird ones.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, and I keep my voice very measured. I'm not raising it to meet his, because if there's one thing that you can do with people who are yelling is if you continue to talk at a reasonable volume, they sometimes come down to meet you.
Okay.
If anything, I might even speak a little softer, so that he has to actually move closer and or calm down to hear me. But I'll just say, well, I don't think that makes you odd. If anything, I think that makes you rather sane. It's the rest of the town I'm concerned about, and I'm wondering if you've noticed. I'm wondering why you're here if you're not here for the same reason that everyone else is. I wonder if our reasoning may or may not be aligned.
He he looks around. He is kind of riled up. And you do bring him down a little bit. At this point, Dr. Sam, you're just coming down the stairs and you see Lieutenant Carter in conversation. Do you head towards?
No, they can handle themselves. I'm more worried about the flying machine and the reason for Lantern's visits. So I'm beelining to the station, if I may.
In that case, as Dr. Sam sort of moves to walk past, that's enough. Him going past is enough to have them sort of step forward and talk with you a little more. He says, look, we're not looking for help, and you're not the person we're here to see. No offense.
I wasn't offering help. I was asking for information.
What information? What are you after?
I want to know what about this town is so interesting if it isn't the Reverend. I mean, it's a Dust Bowl, right?
Yeah, it is.
So,
and you'd have no reason to be here if it weren't for the Reverend. Now, look,
correct.
We've got a meeting to get to, so you'll forgive me if I don't stand here and flap lips for the rest of the morning. You have a good day, and kind of hope we don't bump into each other again. And they will depart and begin to head off. But the line that he does seem to reiterate that, yes, you are right. No one would be here if it weren't for the Reverend. Yeah. They are heading off towards the train tracks, though. So if you go with Sam, there's now going to be that slightly awkward, like, and good day, and then walking just behind them the rest of the way.
I'll give them a beat to go ahead and what have you. But I will. Odd question. Which way is the wind blowing?
Rolling the dice to generate.
Great. Is that from
to
them
the north,
to me?
to the north, which is in the wind will be blowing behind you and towards them as they walk towards the.
Right. So that makes it harder to hear things on the wind.
Yes.
Very good.
It's not a real big wind. It's
You just kind of wrote yourself out of that thing. You just say, I hear them because the wind is blowing it towards me.
It's fine.
That's how I run games.
You can try and circle
No,
around.
that's fine. No. They don't seem to be particularly interested in assistance, obviously. No. And they don't seem to be particularly interested. They seem to think they have everything under control.
Yes.
Which either means...
Well, they also don't trust you. You're a random person who's come up.
Yeah, but the confidence with which they spoke suggests that either they are very confident in their own abilities, or they're overconfident, which is, bully for them, I suppose.
I just kind of liked the honesty. It was refreshing.
It was.
They're also right. They're not the weird ones.
No, they are, in fact, correct.
I hate this goddamn town.
I want to go and make sure Sam is okay, but I also want to speak to the blacksmith.
Okay, well, Sam's probably going to the blacksmith after, so
I'm probably gonna go to the station first and then blacksmith after, in all likelihood.
I thought we established you were now.
I think that's what he told
That's right,
them.
because the lumberyard has the equipment to move the thing, not the blacksmith.
Yes, the blacksmith was
right?
suggested as a place to store it.
But the lumberyard has the equipment to move it.
That's right.
Okay.
Also,
Well,
just because you may have
anyway.
forgotten, the boy who works at the station was he was told, hey, go and get the bloke from the lumberyard first thing tomorrow morning and we'll get this off for the night.
That's right. Yep. That's
so
all
maybe that things are in motion. And
We'll start at the
just
station.
for the sake of, as the two of you catch up and are walking side by side, talking quickly, you will see at the train station a large truck has been pulled up in front of it, and there's a couple of big fucking beefy looking boys that are prepared to unload your flying machine.
just what I wanted.
All right. I'll start off going to the station with Sam, and if I need to divert later, I will. But for the moment, the Peace Brothers are not particularly peaceful. They're rather obnoxious, actually.
But at least they're not friends of the town, right?
And they don't seem to be here for the Reverend, which you have to admit is odd. This place is not exactly known for anything else.
Yeah, but neither are we.
Well, ostensibly
because
we are.
look, just because they're not here for the Reverend doesn't mean they're not here because of the Reverend, if you know what I mean.
I got the implication that that wasn't so. We had a meeting with someone else.
You wanna tail them? You wanna see what they're up to?
No, I actually couldn't care less what they're up to. I'm more concerned about them putting their foot into whatever we're doing.
That's true. That's true.
If they
All
get
right,
themselves killed, that's, well, their problem. And if they're up to no good, well, I don't care. Plenty of people do horrible things for no better reason than money. You should know
Yeah.
that.
Look, I'm inclined to think we've got a few too many eggs in a few too many baskets at the moment. So
Please don't talk to me about eggs, Sam. If I hear anything more about eggs or clutches, I'm going to go mad.
roger that.
Face is snake crazy.
You're not wrong. Anyway, I've got a box to look at.
Yes, your flying machine. Very important. Better make sure these gentlemen don't rough it up.
Although, yeah, I'm wondering, what do you reckon? Should I take it back to the boarding house or the blacksmith? Because obviously, boarding house is offered, but we know that the blacksmith are no friends of the Reverend either.
No, but we
Whereas the
don't know
boarding
if
house
the
are.
blacks. True. We don't know if the blacksmith is going to be friends with us yet. So
Alright,
it depends on whether or not you want to risk the ire of our good proprietors.
Yeah. Devil we know or devil we don't?
Well, hopefully the one we don't isn't actually a devil, but, given our track record, there's 50-50 shot either way, really. More to the point, do you want your machine close by, but potentially in the hands of people that are not trustworthy, or do you want it further away from you with someone that currently we have no more information on other than they're the enemy of my enemy, etc., etc.?
Yeah. Look, better keep it close by, I reckon.
It does make it harder if we do want an excuse to go to the blacksmith, but I'm perfectly happy to do that on my own and make excuses as necessary.
Righto. Yep, happy to keep it close by. Back to the boarding house, I reckon.
Very good.
Was it called boarding house? It wasn't called a hotel, was it?
the
They call
Bingham
themselves a hotel? It's more a boarding house, isn't it?
It's a boarding house, that's right. But hotel conjures images. It's so when you book it on online, you think it's gonna really flash. Like, there's a pool.
Yeah. Yes. I'm sure they have lots of online reviews. 1930s.
As the two of you are talking and you head up the stairs towards the train station, you can see there is a group of flannel-clad blokes, clearly lumberjacks, who are standing around. They're standing around the train carriage. They've all got their fists on their hips, and they're all just taking in the task. First of all, a lot of discussions of that's going to need a winch and levers. We'll handle all of that. And then
just make it very clear how little any of us know about laboring.
similar discussions.
All I know is they're going to tie a strap down and then smack it and say that's not going anywhere.
That's not going anywhere. There is also the young man who ran to fetch him in the morning, who
George
is
Shaw?
Yeah, Gregory Shaw. Who has hopped up onto the back of the truck that they're going to hoist it onto, and is sitting there, looking sort of like bent over and swinging his legs, and he seems to be very he's not paying attention to this. He's kind of like just staring down into the clay and swinging his legs, and clearly just missing the whole operation. As you get up, one of the lumberjacks, clearly their leader, claps his hands together, and he's this big dude. He's gotten his shirt, he's popped his shirt off, tied around his chest. You can see just sweaty big boy, and he claps his hands together and he goes, "Right, let's get this done." And he strides across to the flying machine, and you see one of them go, "No, George, it's too heavy. You're not going to be able to, and not after the accident." And he gets under it and he goes, "Oh!" And he lifts up, and this is a big guy, and he fully lifts one of the sides of it, and you can see him just going, "Oh!" He goes bright red, like veins are throbbing underneath it, and then when it looks like it's about to give, he just goes, "Ah!" Just lifts it even higher, and he's getting it up, and the other guys all scramble because he's gotten one side up, and they're just going, "Get a rope under it, get a rope on her. And they'll like rush over, and 3 guys get on the other side to lift it up high enough. Another one throws a rope underneath it and scrambles over to get it onto the other side. And meanwhile, George is still just fully holding up one side. He like squats down low. They get it. It just begins to go off the edge of the carriage. He's barely holding it, and then they begin to 1 foot at a time move it towards the truck. Dr. Sam, that's a very valuable piece of equipment. They're just hauling through the air and not using all the tools they brought to carry it.
Okay. Yeah, that's not ideal. Yeah, morning. Hey. That's my equipment there. I thought I'd come and give you some advice and some assistance so that we can get it move safely. Do you wanna pop it down for a second? Have a quick rest.
They've gotten it just far enough now that they're at the point of go or no go. Soon it's just gonna be held in the air. Sorry, one of the other guys comes out and goes, just get out of the way, stand back, we gotta move it in one fell swoop now, move it, hold the ropes, and they're trying to hold it up. Do you want to try and make a persuasion, or do you want to just try and get under it and help them?
I'm not gonna help, I'm gonna get squished, but honestly, like, it can't be that heavy, and it's not that, like, delicate. Is what I'm thinking.
Probably, it is fairly heavy, all packed into one piece. You got the, the extra fuel and things. I'm suspecting, but
that's true. Yeah,
and the packaging to make sure it doesn't get damaged. But it is fairly hardy. A single drop from here probably wouldn't destroy it, but it wouldn't be great.
No, it's dropped from higher before. If you know what I mean. So yeah,
it has also had aerofoils at that point, though, and I don't believe it has aerofoils currently.
I'm confident in my packing
confident
abilities.
In your craft, yeah.
I don't think dropping it from a meter will destroy anything. So I'd be inclined not to like come in and tell them what to do. This is strictly speaking their profession, not mine. So Dr. Sam's not gonna,
You're not gonna tell a man how to skin a cat.
Not gonna teach his grandma how to suck eggs, as the expression goes.
Eggs.
How organized do these gentlemen look?
Not very particularly.
Oh, good.
It looks. These look like they just got the lumberjacks are just the strongest guys in the area. That's where all the big boys work. So they'll come and help us out. And also they would load lumber onto here to send it into town and stuff. So hauling and stuff is very much a part of their occupation. But this is just they're the big guys. So like this town isn't big enough to have,
So it's not that they had specialist equipment; they are the specialist equipment.
Yeah, well, they had a lot of like ropes, and there probably was like a winch they could have set up and stuff that they appeared to not be doing. This guy seems to have jumped the gun, George.
All right.
Right, that's never helpful. Military, we have cannons, yes.
Yeah. Presently?
Artillery?
No.
No, I'm saying in the military there are cannons. Correct.
Yes. Correct.
Good, and I would have quite possibly had to yell at troops of young men and/or women and/or neuter to move cannons.
Yes.
In form.
It's true.
Possible.
Training.
Yeah. You've definitely yelled at people to like haul shit before. Yeah. I think the artillery is probably like a trained area. You were a sergeant, right? This is kind of getting in the ways.
I'm a lieutenant, and I trained troops.
Yeah.
So whether or not we moved artillery on the field versus training them how to respond to commands when
works for me.
Yelled, I am. We'll look at Sam and go, do you think they could use some encouragement?
Yeah. Look, I'd trust you with that.
Good. And I'm going to start barking orders at them to get them to move in formation and sync with one another. So much like, halt, you rope over there underneath, quick
pivot,
step, now turn.
My left,
that kind of,
my left.
Yeah, my left.
Yep.
Do you not know how to?
Perfect. You've never lifted a sectional before? All right, do you want to give me I'm guessing intimidation seems to be the name of the game.
Sure.
Because it's kind of you're the old order bellow.
Mm-hmm. Good God. I don't think I've succeeded a single intimidate check.
Oklahoma
because
is
the dice
latest
know how much
of
luck
red.
you have.
Once the luck goes down, though.
That's 19 points of luck. I haven't fumbled, so all I'm going to do is just yell at these poor people while they're doing something.
Yeah.
Oh, please, my flying machine. It's my flying machine.
All right.
No, it's fine. You can spend your luck on
It is
whatever you
up to
like.
you, yeah.
But you got to spend it eventually.
You haven't fumbled. It's not going to help, but it's, you know.
If it's not, yeah, I will attempt and then possibly realize relatively quickly that they don't actually understand military terms and they are not trained for listening to this. So it's just not really all that helpful.
They also
All
just
of
seem
their
to
brain power is going into their muscles right now.
They're also because the point for planning is past, and at this point they're just going, and it's less planning. It's more just get it down, shuffle to the tray, and then really lift it up and get it onto the bed.
Right.
They do get it off the tray, and then all holding underneath it, they begin to shimmy it towards the edge of the station. They're up on the raised sections, and the cars parked alongside it, backed in. Gregory hops off and gets out of the way, and they begin to move it along. Eventually, they chuck a couple of cloths down, and then drop it onto it, and are able to slide it on, and they will succeed in doing so without damaging the aircraft.
Hooray.
And as soon as it gets down, George, the bloke who just kind of jumped the gun and lifted it up, just lets it go and just starts flexing it. Boom!
Oh,
Who saw that? Who saw that? He's pointing to the
You
two
did
of
all
you.
that. Yeah, and I will just look at him and give him a very sort of, it's a smirk, a smile, and just go, you did that all for little old me.
Someone needs to get that man a card for Enrico's Big and Tall immediately.
Do you want to make a charm roll, Lieutenant Carter? As you seduce the entire town of Bingham, Oklahoma.
Get in there.
One at a time,
Apparently I
baby.
just cannot do anything today.
But your honor will not let you fail a charm roll, surely.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is
That's why you saved the
It's
luck
also
card. It's the other
another
way around.
7 points.
Yeah.
So that's
Lucky
better
7.
than 19. 72 minus 65 is 7.
Yep.
So I am now on 84 luck.
Perfect.
Yeah, I will succeed on that charm roll because I have questions for this gentleman.
He fully grins at you and goes you know it. How's that for a man with a broken back? Better than before. But I could do it again. Bet I could do it bigger and from further. He's looking around for something. He goes, you want to see something really impressive? And he goes to one of his buddies, one of the other lumberjacks, and gets under him, kind of rugby tackle, and starts to try and lift him up. And the guy's going oh, George, put me down. We're in the middle of work. And he's trying to squirm out of it. And George, he just looks like a drunk, any drunk you see, just running around, just trying to show off to his mates and lift up heavy stuff.
I like that you specified drunk. I've seen this from dudes sober.
Yeah, that as well. But he's
you get
he's just
the
super
right
razzed.
person in front of the right dude, and it does not matter whether they're drinking or not. They're just hey, I'm a show off because there's somebody watching that I need to impress. It's delightful.
Drunk on testosterone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And maybe some toxic masculinity. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yum, yum, yum.
Yes, I will
drops his
just
butt.
continue to watch and just smile.
And he kind of staggers a little bit.
You look like the kind of man who could lift a mountain if he tried hard enough.
Yeah. I mean, ever since and he fully staggers a bit, and he falls, and he leans up against, and another guy goes, George, I told you, it's too heavy. Just sit down. I'm fine. Maybe a little water. And he collapses down towards the ground. He falls against it, and reels over, and he's got his he's holding it forward.
All right, I will walk over, and I'll hand him I would have water on me, I assume.
Yep. You hand him a
Hand
flask.
him the flask of water.
Canteen, maybe. He
Yeah,
takes it.
I continue to stand, so he's probably looking at my knees.
Dr. Sam, you
And
can
very
see.
nice pants.
Dr. Sam, from the back, you can see he's probably overextended muscles and stuff. He's lifted a great weight in a short period. His hands tearing and stuff. He's kind of. It's the the thing of a mother can lift a car to get at her kid that's trapped under it. It's kind of he did that, but just for a laugh. And so he's probably going to be feeling it now. He takes a drink for the canteen, upends a bit onto his head, and it sort of drips down through his hair as he looks down on the ground. And you can hear him going, how's that for a man with a broken back?
You got a broken back.
Not anymore. Not anymore, thank God. And thank the Reverend, he's got the touch. I'm
Really?
better than before.
He's got medical training.
Medical training.
Yeah.
Man's got the touch. God works through him, and he's better than before.
What exactly did you broke your back?
Snapped it.
I don't.
Never walk again.
Snapped it.
They wanted to send me into town. Surgery. Expensive. I would have been wheelchair bound for the rest of my life. And the Reverend, he came in and one night prayed over me. And that morning, God is my witness, I leapt from that bed. I was back at the yard that evening.
That's really something. I'm Dr. Sam, by the way. I'm a medical doctor myself, and do you mind if I take a quick look? It's if what you're saying is true, and don't believe me. I don't want to. I'm not here to call anyone a liar.
Witness
I'd
the
love
work,
to see
doctor.
what exactly you did.
Witness the work.
I will. Can I give him a quick medical once over?
Yeah.
First to make sure he's okay after that nonsense, and also to verify any part of that story.
Yeah, make a medicine roll as you return. Like he's bent over, so like running a finger over his back. You feel dude is strong. Muscle. That's all muscle. And you begin to you can find like knots and minute tears. You can see evidence of past scars and stuff. But actually, it's almost as if like in this short period, he's beginning to like catch himself. His breathing's slowing. This dude has like an incredible heart, like just the capacity to like, he's output a ton of energy and he's beginning to get back at it. Another buddy will bring over like a packed lunch and he just like fingers in, just wolfs it down as he begins to balance the intake. There appears, Dr. Sam, with your medical and mythos expertise, there is something at work here beyond just science. He has
suspected it as much.
A freaking like train engine for a battery right now. This dude could go. There is a little bit at the back of your mind that says this can't be sustainable. Like there has to be, it's the kind of like two sides of the scales. Something has to be balancing here, and it's not. This doesn't make sense. You don't get something
he's
for
putting
nothing.
out more energy than he's putting in.
Yeah, and this can't be sustainable. This can't be. There has to be something else about it. It's kind of like just back of your head. It's not quite adding up. That said, he is already beginning to come back around, and he sort of shakes, and he passes back your canteen card, and he goes, "Thanks." And he pulls himself out. Whew. All right.
That's really something. Well, just a few more questions. Is there anyone else who's the Reverend's helped in a similar way?
Yeah. There's a couple of us. I know he helped out Harry. He works at the barber shop. He was damn near completely blind, and a night with the priest, he prayed over him and can see clear as anything. Spot a rabbit on a hot day. Great distance. It's incredible. He's done some minor acts for a lot of people, and I know there's folks coming into town every day now asking him to experience what I've experienced, and God knows it's worth it.
Wow, that's really something. Well, thanks for the chat, and thanks for the look, and thanks for the lift. We're just going to get this down to the hotel. Probably put it around the back somewhere. It's close by.
Hotel. Let's do it. You guys drive. I'm gonna run it. And he hops down off the thing. One of the guys gets in. As this is happening, there's Gregory and George. I'm aware it's slightly confusing. It's Gregory Shaw and George Henson is the man you've just spoken to. Gregory hops down and he comes up to you and he goes, I thought this was going to the Blacksmith. This is going to the hotel?
Oh, yeah. Well, last night we thought the hotel might not have room for it, but turns out they do. So that's where I'm staying. So that's where it should stay as well. Is that right?
It might be a little cramped there. It'd probably more space. There'd probably be more space in the Blacksmith. I can go with it and help out. Talk to them there, make sure it's all looked after.
Oh no, that's all
Why
right.
don't if you wanted to if you wanted to go with your machine, Sam, I could go and have a look at the blacksmiths to get an idea of how much space there is. I mean, we've seen the hotel. We know how much space is likely to be there. Perhaps Mr. Shaw.
It is going to be
Probably-
cramped at the hotel. There isn't a ton. It's going to be like in the back under a tarp. So it is
Sorry,
going to be
I'm trying
pretty
to
big.
use this as an excuse, just to be very
Oh
clear.
no, I'm with you. I'm just saying there's also you can justify it as like it's not going to. There's not like a shed or anything. They're putting it in the hotel. They're just going to leave it in the back and chuck a tarp over it.
Look, I'll be happy to come with you and have a quick chat to the blacksmith. Can we pay you for a bit more of your time or use of your truck just before we figure out exactly where it's going?
Who are you talking to? To
To
Henson,
the
the
lumber
lumberjacks?
folks, yeah. So if we haven't decided where it's going just yet, can it stay on the truck for a bit longer? Happy to compensate you for your time.
do you want to leave it here, or you want to go to the?
Well, let's have a chat to the blacksmith before we take it anywhere. Don't want to cause too much fuss. Hey.
Listen, we gotta get to work.
We can compensate you for your time and the use of
That's-
your equipment.
They kind of look at
wasn't
one
already made
another,
clear.
and then one of them goes, "Fowler's gonna be drunk anyway. He's not gonna notice." Well, yeah, that's fine. We can. Let's. All right.
Is there someone in charge we need to organize this with, or can I? Speaking to you directly. Is one
Henson.
of you the?
Henson, the big owl. I'm in charge.
No.
You are. You own the lumberyard.
No, Fowler does, but as I said, he'll be drunk by now. He's gonna be out of it.
Oh yes, our good landlord for at the moment did mention that we were to speak to you specifically, rather than Fowler.
Where are we going? Leaving it here?
We, for the moment, we need to just ascertain where exactly has space for us.
We'll have a look at the blacksmith's workshop and see if it's more suitable than the hotel.
All right, you want to lift to the blacksmith workshop? I can lift this off. I can lift this off and back on the bed in no time flat.
Have you? Do you sleep?
Yeah, I sleep. Sleep like a champion. Sleep like a goddamn
that's all
legend.
right. Look, don't
So good at
lift anymore.
sleeping.
You want to challenge me to a sleep?
You want to see me sleep?
You want to see me sleep? There's genuinely a bit
mean-
of that. He's like, just
Yeah.
yeah.
Better
I
save
mean,
the
I'm
rest of your energy for your workday, hey?
And I'm sure if you wanted to have a sleeping competition at some point, I'm sure that could be arranged.
Oh, spicy.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I could probably genuinely like full on like goes like yeah. it takes it totally in
get it.
stride. So, yeah, hell yeah.
Do I get the idea that he clocked?
Yeah,
what I
he
was-
clocked the shit out
okay,
of it.
Cool.
Yeah, he was like
just
fucking, he was like, sweet dude, let's go. It sounds awesome.
amazing. That is not the reaction I'm used to getting, but also I'm not used to dealing with people who have almost as much between their ears as, well, a cloud. So, you know. Well, very good. We're going to meander to the blacksmith. You're very welcome to join us, or if there is things you need to get on with, perhaps you can get on with them here.
Meander away.
We do need someone to make sure that the this piece of equipment is kept safe. Is the other thing. It's rather important. So I don't know
Gregory's
if
got
you
that
and
right.
your men are up to the task.
Gregory, you got that right. And he tries to offhand it, and Gregory goes, "No, I'll take them to the blacksmith to show them how to get there. In case you guys get lost, I'll walk you up there. I know them, so I can
Thank
introduce."
you, Mr. Shaw.
No worries. And Henson goes, "Fine. You stay here, watch it. I'm gonna go back to work." All right, one of them can drive it, and they'll bring the truck back after.
Thank you. We'll holler if we need anything else.
Holler away, and he takes off.
I'm inclined to keep a pair of avian eyes on the machine as well.
Okay, so you leave. So there's
I
me.
would. On the machine or on that gentleman, Sam? He seems like a medical marvel.
Well, it's the birds are the truck's a bit less replaceable than well, not in that sense, but
The bird's
know,
also got a limit
it's a
on
bigger
what
target.
it can do. It watching the truck is a git, like it can definitely do that and like come get you if something happens. It following the man about his daily routine and
That's what I'm
reporting on
thinking.
minutiae is a little beyond its grasp.
Well, I think we should have a chat to Harry, the barber, at some point.
But the blacksmith first, hey.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
What we'll do.
Gregory will he's going to stop in at the post office and just let the bloke that runs the train station know that he's going to take you off and walk you up towards the blacksmith. He gets a very whatever. And as you begin to head up towards town, let's touch back in with Hudbert, who's having a lovely scalp massage.
By the man who we recently figured out was blind until recently.
As you're standing in the town, you're lying there with the hot towel covering your face, and you can feel it sort of massage again. You are being talked to in that sort of barber routine. It's a lot of what do you do?
Oh, I'm a businessman from New York City.
Is that right? What brings you out here?
Oh well, actually, I heard word of the Reverend. Thought I'd come in and take a visit.
Oh, the Reverend. Yeah. Wonderful man. Doing great work here. He personally met with my wife when she was unwell, and God knows he gave her some relief. He she's it's been tough over some years, but he just a little bit of time with her, and I'd say her mind was cleared, and she was, wow, really, it's exceptional work that he does. He also met with my maintenance man, who was, you wouldn't believe this, honestly. Even just saying it does sound wild. I mean, what a world we live in, huh? Thinking that right here, God would be so present, but my man was damn near blind, fully could not see a thing. He would come and go, and completely cured. He can spot anything now. It is nothing short of a miracle. And at this point, the door opens, you hear the clinging of bells and heavy footsteps, and then you hear like and this massive belch that you can smell through the cloth and just permeate, and like that septic smell of like the lacquer and everything is just permeated by what smells like carrion, cheese, some sort of rotten vegetable. Then sorry, Ralph, I think I'm just gonna want to sit down for a bit before I get to work. Just had a hell of a lunch. And then in the chair next to you here, something sits down in it, and Ralph goes, well, speak of the he who shall not, be said and so forth. Harry, I was just talking about you to Mr. Smith here, and you hear as he begins to snore in the seat next to you.
Pleasure to meet you too, and good night.
Ralph says, yeah, he gets like that after a big meal. I mean, wow, I don't see him eat most days, and then once a week or so, he just gorgeous. I mean, the man's, it's another miracle to see. I'll be honest, it really is. But it's stranger things have happened, right? And he pulls back the cloth from your eyes now, and you can see to your right there is a dude. He's actually not a huge guy. He's in like denim overalls, but it looks as though his stomach, it looks like he is grossly pregnant, like right before giving birth pregnant. The overalls are stretched taut over his belly, but hang loose over the rest of it, and his arms are just like living, and they're not skinny, but just not they do not match the weight of it, and they're hanging. He's completely out of it, snoring, and occasionally there'll be like a sulfurous expression that comes from his mouth as he belches again, and it is just rank.
Oh my god.
Ralph apologizes for that and wafts it away a bit, and we'll now begin to.
Yep. Yep. Okay. I got two things I want to do. I want to get out some conversation with Ralph.
Yeah.
I want to say, so you said your wife's sick at the moment?
She's unwell. Meeting with the Reverend helped her a lot. But I'm hoping that if I can express upon him her need, he'll take her on one of his expeditions out into the deserts and give her a more permanent relief, a more permanent healing touch.
I see. And are you hoping to do that soon?
Chin up, Mr. Smith, and the razor begins to along the vulnerable bits.
Yep. Creepy. I'll shut up talking about this guy's wife then while he's got a knife pressed against my neck. Once he's done, I'll say, can you, or as he approaches finishing, I'll say, can you grab some talc or something? Like, I want to ask for something that is standard within a barbershop context, but he would just say, oh, yes, give me a second.
In
I'll
the
just
back
get it from the
room.
back.
Yeah. I want a lot of hair gel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You say a
Aftershave
word.
or whatever.
Yeah. I think I'll read on the cupboard. Maybe you just go like, hey, I can't. Can you break a 200?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
go and
that's
get the
even better.
lockbox.
When I pay, I hand him a large bill.
So you
And
get
I'm
out,
just sort of.
and you sort of you dust down. He's done a very fine job, and you will look very snappy when you go to church. He really cleaned it up. Looks great. Looks familiar. Not a hair strain. You feel refreshed, moisturized. It's great.
Brilliant.
Harry is continuing to snore and belch, and for a moment, Ralph will head out to break your bill.
While he's away, I would like to go over to Harry, and I think we all know what's going on here. This is some snaky meal stuff. But I just want confirmation while he's in feed mode or close to it. I'm going to pull out my jar of insects. I'm going to undo the lid. I just want to waft it under his nose a few times and then place it on the counter in front and go back to where I was standing.
Okay. You wafted under his nose. Can you actually give me a psychology roll?
Sure. Skill I am famously awful at. But hell, I'm so invested in this and I haven't rolled my luck. So I'm going to roll my luck.
Okay.
And then I will calculate that later, but I will give you 26 points of luck to succeed that.
Okay, all right. As you wafted under it, there is the nostrils and when you put it nearby, he'll sort of one more bite, and he reaches out and he runs a finger on the inside of the rim. With a psychology, you actually think he's going for the honey, not the flies, and he puts it in his okay. And there's a pop as his finger pops out wetly, and he.
But
as he swallows, you can see his at one point his jaw clicks and just his neck just and the whole thing gurgles a little bit for a moment.
Oh god. Okay. I get the jar away. I go back to the counter. I've had enough.
And he falls back asleep. Ralph comes out, breaks the money. Tells you if you have any other friends in town, you send them by. Kunkel's the finest in town, also the only in town.
Thank you, Mr. Kunkel.
Not a problem. If I do hope we see you at church.
Oh, you will, and
especially
I will
this. I will say, especially this Sunday. Given we're heading up, I understand this to be a larger ceremony than usual. So
I see. That is good to know. Thank you for the information. I'll make sure that I am there, but I'll come today as well to.
You have a good day.
Right. You too.
And you head out. Ding, out onto the street.
Today?
Today's Friday.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
Where are you heading towards? I think timing-wise, you might all line up as... It's not the fastest route. Actually, yeah, it was, because you know about it. Actually, genuinely, you would meet on a base in front of the hotel as these two are being led by Gregory Shaw. Again, so 17-year-old, middle-parted hair, quite long, little bit of a bored expression, and he is escorting them to the Blacksmith, so the three of you will reconvene. It's 9 or 10 thereabouts, probably 10.
If we can get together and sort of have a brief chat,
absolutely.
I will greet the two of you and then say I have a new set of theories I don't know if the
And
collection
you
of you.
shave, by the looks of it.
Yeah, thank you for noticing. I tried a new look. What do you think?
I mean, I'm always going to notice changes in you, Mr. Smith.
Absolutely.
A new set of theories.
Yes,
Is the boy with us?
He's walking just ahead. He seems quite eager to get there.
Very good.
Not like superhumanly, but he's definitely looking forward to getting there. So he's walking a little bit up ahead, and he just keeps on going like, just up here, around this corner.
Cool. Is there somewhere where like coffee is served in this town?
You could stop in and ask for a coffee at like the hotel, but no, there's not like a cafe.
Okay.
The department store.
Department store
maybe?
might have like a shitty restaurant attached that runs to also a cafe, but there's no cafe. Like that's probably the one restaurant in town as well. Everyone would just home cook.
We're right by the department store.
Yeah.
Yes,
You wanna
I
just
was
stop for a
going
drink?
to. No, I was just going to send the young lad on a coffee run to get him out of our hair for a short period of time, and then have an excuse for him to go ahead and come back, and then for us to meet and continue our walk, so that he doesn't, wander off ahead, and then we lose him, or stop and hear our conversation.
It's not a real wide, like a large town. You can pretty easily keep tabs on him. I will also say, when you go to get him to do something, he's got a little. He can be a little belligerent himself, and he kind of will just go like, not like super rudely, but he'll go like, no, look, I've got to get back to work as soon as possible. It's just up here, and keeps going. Like he's out and up. If you speak quietly, he generally does not seem to be trying to listen in on you either. He seems to just be trying to get to where you're going. But he doesn't have the like, boy howdy, anything I can do to help. He seems to be doing this a little bit because he may have his own reason to be traveling there. And want to get out of work, or he just wants to get out of work to blunt for a
Wait,
bit.
hold on a hot sec. Forgive me. This was the young man who rushed in rather quickly, wasn't it?
That's right.
Ah. I think I know that eagerness.
Okay.
Well, Hubert doesn't. So he will in a softer voice will say, I think we can see the influence of that. I relay what I saw, what I heard. We can see the influence of the Reverend on this place. My working theory now is that he's uncovered something, some kind of power, and it's not directly actions of the Serpent people here, but he's got access to some kind of technology or weaponry from them, and he's using it to try and help people in the ways that he sees fit.
I think you're right. Yeah.
My question was very much, how are these individuals being replaced by snakes, or are they being imbued with snake-like properties? And I think by what we're saying, we're considering the latter to be true.
I would suspect the latter, yes.
His best case scenario is he really is trying to like make a difference, and he's framing that through the lens he knows, which is the good book. But as far as I can tell, in my medical opinion, it's not right. There's got to be some side effects that's going to come crashing down on these poor folks at some point.
I think that we should go and listen to him. We should give him the benefit of the doubt until then. If we see him and we figure that he is a man who has in some way gone insane with power or drive to, I don't know. If we think he can be reasoned with and spoken to, I think we should just come clean to him. We should tell him what we think's going on. Otherwise, there's got to be something to do with this journey, this 40 days out in the desert. I wonder if he's found another temple or another location, like a hidden...
I don't think we should reveal our hand. I think that's something we should keep close to us. I had a short conversation with the Peace Brothers outside being incredibly obnoxious. They're here for something else that isn't the Reverend. And they looked like they were packing for at least a short hike. So, they may be after whatever it is the Reverend has found in the desert, depending on how long they are absent for, although they did say they were having a meeting, so perhaps meeting someone who could take them out further, I'm not sure. But I have my suspicions. Regardless, I do think that having you and Minnie on the side of on the side of the Reverend and the people who support him is going to be a better option.
Well, then... Oops, after you, sorry.
No, please, go ahead.
Why don't we split up for the remainder of the day then? Why don't Minnie and I go to the church, and why don't the two of you pointedly stay away, maybe even visit that saloon?
I'd rather they not suspect Sam in any way and make your life more difficult. Just... no offense, Sam. You're very good at healing people. You're not so good at making obstacles obsolete.
Oh, no, yeah, that's fine. No offense taken.
But I do think it might be worthwhile having someone staying away from church for a reason that isn't obviously linked to the dissenting part of the population. Perhaps an excuse wanting to make sure that your vehicle is safe and sound or something to that effect. That way we can find out just exactly how venomously they're going to object, vehemently, they're going to object to someone not attending church for a reason of just general absenteeism versus the way they seem to view the other side of the town who's staying away for more explicit reasons.
I think that's a very sensible idea. Okay, I think, yeah, Minnie and I will go to the church. If you can get into the saloon, maybe even consider sneaking in, and then if Dr. Sam, you'd be happy to hang by your machine.
Yeah, look, in any case, I think we might get some more information about this from this blacksmith. If he is indeed, not on the side of the church, be good to have a little bit more information and another potential ally.
Yes. Which I believe we're actually getting close to it now. Mr. Smith, do you wish to accompany us for this particular part? There's a chance you will be seen at the blacksmith, and I don't think they're particularly fond of that, but I'm sure we can excuse it away with Sam's machine if necessary.
I'll hang around nearby. I might just not come in. So I kind of stop at the bottom of the hill within shouting distance if this turns out to be important, but we'll step aside.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. How grand. So as you walk up, the three of you, Gregory slows once you get there, so he kind of meets up with you, and he goes, "It's just up here," and he points at what is obviously the blacksmith. It is a building attached to a large outdoor shed with a smelter and a bunch of cool ass equipment inside, and then towards the rears there is yet another enclosed shed that will be used to store materials, ongoing projects, and flying machines. The attached house is a two-story number.
Specially built hangar for flying machines? No. What are the odds?
Yeah, it's one of the chances. It's probably there might even be a planted body and ring in here too. It's just like yours. The attached house is one of the nicer ones in town, or larger ones at least. It also looks like it was mostly built by hand. There's a lot of metal work that's been used to replace pieces. So maybe given he's got a very functional occupation, they've been less hit by the ongoing issues, although definitely hit by it, and also just have the capacity to repair their own things with scrap and such. As you approach, Gregory lingers a little bit at the edge and then kind of points out a very tall man in a brown leather apron. It's a thunderstorm in Jackson's house, and
I was hoping to get like a smelter's kind of glow.
Oh, like a red. That'd be cool.
I don't know if it's, I don't know if it's working. I don't know if that's doing it for you. I gotta turn this one down.
It's very good. And the guy's also still got like a quite a heavy shirt on underneath, still down despite all the heat because he's working so closely with fire. He's got quite short cropped hair and beard, so that he can continue to work and not, get exposed to flames. And he's currently standing next to the smelter, just fucking banging the shit out of some piece of metal. And Gregory,
what was this man's name again?
That man is, stalling flawlessly. Bill Schoenbaum is the blacksmith. So Gregory will say that's Bill. And if you talk to him, I'm sure he can set you up.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Are you planning on heading back to the post office immediately, or is there a chance that we could encourage you to linger here because we may need some directions on the way back?
Oh, yeah. I can probably hang around for a little bit at least. Yeah, I'll wait here while you talk, and I'll be ready to go. I'll be ready to go.
No problem at all. Don't feel the need to stay near us. I'm sure there's something else you could find to entertain yourself. We'll holler when we're done.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Can you give me a fast talk roll? And
Why? I'm not trying to hide that I know.
Well, okay. If that's the case,
or I'm not trying to hide that I suspect. I'm not actually lying.
No, you're not. I know, but it is veiled, you know, double meanings and things. Give me a fast talk roll regardless, just to...
Okay, I have none in fast talk, but I'll give you a
chance
fast talk
to get a little improve ski.
Ooh.
Oh my god, that's close.
It's not an improvement, but you can have 3 points.
Okay, because you are gonna catch something. When he suddenly picks up what you're putting down, he blusters because no, I have to get going. Nothing like. I will see you. Best of luck with Bill. And he turns and not like sprints away, but like does a little jog to break the conversation, and then fast walks back towards. He seems to not be very pleased that you are aware of what you are aware of.
But do I get the feeling that I was incorrect? Or do I get the feeling that I was
like, you definitely hit a nerve. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Or you hit something. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I wasn't trying to be threatening, so I'm not sure where that was. All right.
Oh, you don't have to try very hard. That's the thing. No offense, Aries, but well, I'm sure you're aware.
None taken, Sam. At least not from you.
Oh, good.
Anyone else, on the other hand, I'd take their fingers off.
At this point, there's a break in the clanging, and Bill steps away to survey his work. Not appreciably. He's done it again. And there's an opening for the three of you to walk up, or two of you, and if Hubert's lingering, to walk up and say goodday.
I will actively linger back, I think, at this point, but I'm sort of... I nodded the guys who's running away, because I'm down at the bottom of the hill.
He goes, up! Goes past. As he goes past, he will do a slightly awkward, like a, sorry, forgot to, middle of... You know how it is, right? Monday.
I do.
Fridays, right? The whole office leaves early.
Wednesday.
Fuck. It is Friday.
No, sorry. I was being silly.
And he jogs off. Mondays, Lieutenant Carter and Dr. Sam can walk up towards to Bill.
Then we do.
You walk up towards Bill. Morning. How can I help you?
Hey, well, we're just visiting town, and we were recommended that we come speak to you about storing some items in your workshop if you got the space to let.
Sure. I don't run a charity.
No, of course not. To let, we'd happily pay you some rent.
I can probably squeeze something in. How big's what you're storing?
Look, it's a bit of a big crate. Dimensions. Feet. I'm not good with feet.
It's feeling like it's like the back of it.
We give the dimension of the box, Dave.
Yes,
please and thank you.
Dr. Sam's one weakness is he cannot convert meters. He cannot convert metric to.
We give it in your
very
strange
true.
American units.
Yeah.
I think it's not just American. The British do as well, but.
Yeah. He goes, I can accommodate that. How long are you looking to store it for? And what is it?
Oh,
no offense, but I just don't want to be. There's all sorts coming into town these days. I just don't want to be storing some weird.
Depending on your
thing.
interests, it might be of professional curiosity. Mr. Schonbaum, was it not?
Schonbaum, that's right.
Schonbaum.
Pleasure, Lieutenant Carter, Aries Carter.
Nice to meet you. He shakes your hand.
Hey, Dr. Sam.
He shakes your hand as well. This man's hands are calloused. He's clearly worked most days of his life.
My good friend Sam here is quite the traveler. He has a machine that flies.
Yeah, well, he's just a bit of a mechanic by hobby. And yeah, I'd like to keep it close by and keep it safe. And you seem to be a man of similar talents, so I thought you'd be best to look after it.
Similar talents would be a stretch. You got an entire flying machine you're planning to store in my hangar.
Oh, it's pretty. It's
My shed,
miniaturized. 2 seats, if you like.
It also packs down relatively compactly.
2 seats?
Correct.
I can carry 2 people. It's just
Would you
does
like
this
to
work? Is this a theoretical piece?
Would you like to see it?
I'd be interested in seeing it. If we're storing it, I'd be interested in seeing it as a professional
course,
curiosity.
Of course, we don't want to bother the folks at the lumberyard, so we wouldn't want to take it all the way here if it'd be too much trouble to make the space. You see what I mean?
No, we can make a space. God knows I'd be
think
interested in.
that perhaps, obviously, we're very willing to rent, to let the space from you. But as an additional thank you for allowing us some space in your establishment, we'll show you how it works. And if you feel so inclined, perhaps, Sam, you could take this gentleman for a short jaunt.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
This. You can see for a moment there's like, maybe not childlike glee, but like clearly that was very cool. And he kind of jams it back down.
Yeah.
And his demeanor shifts a little bit. Can I actually get both of you make psychology rolls? It's a little...
I think he's just remembered. Oh
wow.
Am I right? Oh, I forgot to change
So
my name.
close.
Does he just remember that he needs to be completely very wary of strangers and the terrible things that are happening in his town?
That's kind of it.
You may have a point of luck.
Okay.
By the way.
I will say, Dr. Sam's gonna. You will get some service, and
okay.
Dr. Sam's gonna get the full spread on this year.
In that case, I'm assuming Sam can tell me, so it doesn't.
Up to you.
sure.
Actually, no. I'll give you
The
one just
surface
to like
level
get a
gets then in
surface
conversation.
rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the surface levels you get, basically, he kind of pulls it back down and jams it underneath, and you can see a little bit more cynicism come up, as there's sort of like a. The sense is very much that you don't get something for nothing. And he's kind of trying to figure out what your angle is.
Yeah.
Dr. Sam, you find a very deep suspicion. Like, he is suspicious. And
As he should be.
There's a lot of people flooding into town. He doesn't know what your deal is. And he can store something, but now you're saying you want to kind of open it up and you want to set it up here and a flying machine. Maybe you're using those for more desert adventures, and maybe you're affiliated. And he kind of just eventually he jams it all back down and he goes, storing's fine. I'd appreciate if you don't do any work on my property, but we can
understood.
store it for a period.
Oh,
That'll be fine.
that's really excellent news because the hotel we were a little bit hesitant at first, and then we mentioned that the folks at the train station said that you might have space. When we said to the hotel folks, what were their names?
Rosemary and Desmond.
That's right.
Something.
Adams.
Adams. Thank you.
We mentioned
Yeah, which
to
is
the
I get
Adams.
very confused between Adams and Allens. Yep.
We mentioned to the Adams that we could probably take it here and see if you've got space, and then they were very insistent that no, they could make space at the hotel. I'm trying to sprinkle in the fact that we know there are 2 sides here, and we're inclined to be on your side here based on what we've learned.
Yeah, I think
That's what I'm
I'll
trying to
chime in.
get.
I'll chime in with, or just as you're saying, like they insisted on making space, and just sort of say, and they're honestly looking at the place. It really seems to be much space at all, and well,
Just less suitable overall.
Look, I'm not one to speak ill of folk, but there's little love lost between mine and the Adams, especially since they continue to attend that slander of a service hosted by the Reverend.
Yes, we have heard quite a lot about this Reverend. He seems to be either very well liked or, well,
a polarizing figure to say the least.
I got nothing bad to say about the man. I don't want to attend. All right, I'm sick of being asked about it. It's my right to host services in my own abode if I choose. It's my right to not attend the services in the church if I so choose. If it's the sheriff that's asking, then you can tell him that it's all legal. It's all fine, and I'm not looking to upset people. I'm just looking to worship in my own way. So, you can let him know that.
We haven't actually met the sheriff yet.
You haven't.
No.
Something we should be worried about?
Look, I'm not trying to get embroiled in whatever. I know there's people that take great issue with it. Personally, I think there's something wrong, all right? The Reverend that went out there for 40 days, prove himself to God and to find deliverance, that is not the man who returned. That was a good man that went out there, willing to sacrifice for our town. Man that's returned, he's doing things that ain't right.
He literally did that. Wandered the desert for 40 days.
40 days, 40 nights.
I assume that was a popular turn of phrase.
He brought with him nothing to drink, nothing to eat. So devout was he that he was certain that God would provide. And I ain't sure that it's God that provided for him. That ain't our Reverend that came back. And I won't be attending his services no more. Not after what he did.
Well, we definitely don't want to impose or meddle or get you into trouble, but look, we'd love to hear anything else you got to say while we unpack the gear.
Can you give me a charm check or persuade? I'm going to say this is going to be hard.
I'm persuasive.
You also get, with that extreme psychology, Jackson, Sam kind of gets the impression that
Yes.
he's on the back foot a little bit. Most people you've spoken to so far have been very pro-reverend and like, wow, look at all this. Yeah, this side, for lack of a better word, or especially Bill's thing, is that they're kind of being, like, they're getting kind of boxed in a little bit, and he doesn't necessarily want to make waves because he'll be the one that gets hurt in them.
That's the impression I get.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go for a persuade. I'll say, look, I'm trying to say we understand your position here. You made that pretty clear, and we don't want to get you in any trouble either.
We're mostly looking for a way to find some calm while we're here as well.
With that hard persuasion, he'll say, well, I appreciate that. I will ask, why did you come to town if it isn't to meet with the Reverend?
It's to meet with the Reverend and figure out if he's hurting anyone.
How'd you come to know of him? Is it through the radio that he sends out?
Yeah.
I know those.
In short, yeah.
Yes.
Well, look, if you're external forces at work, then hell, look, we've been praying for help, and maybe this is it. So I'm not one to turn away people that feel like they can do good. I just ask that you treat me and mine with respect and keep us out of it as much as you can. I'll ask that you don't enter my home without my permission, and don't believe everything you hear. I can store your materials. I'll ask that you assemble and operate it outside of the property, but if you can do some good, then yeah, I appreciate
Understood.
it.
That's what we're here to do, but not at anyone's expense, including yours.
No, and also, just to be clear, the offer to fly is not one that was made because we want something. It's an amazing experience, and I think it's something that is a joy to do, and more people should do it. And you seemed, forgive me, at least briefly excited by the concept, and I like it when people get excited about fun things. There's not enough of that in life.
I can say it ain't an appealing concept. Why don't you get that machine?
Pressure.
Why don't you get that machine brought over here, and we'll get you set up, and he'll coordinate you moving the pieces across to get them stowed in time for the service as it comes, whether or not you wish to go. As this conversation is happening, Hubert, you're going to notice a couple of things. Can you actually give me a spot hidden roll?
Absolutely, coming right up. Bringing up my character sheet again. How's everyone's day?
Okay.
Hey,
Nice.
Yep.
The first you'll notice is that not long after Gregory leaves, the door opens on the side, like not the main entrance, or like a side. Actually, it's not even a door. It's a window on the lower level, and scrambling out of what's probably like the kitchen or something, trying to be a little bit hidden, is a young woman, girl, about 16, 17, in a white dress with red spots and slightly shorter, so almost like slightly tomboyish looking haircut, kind of really short. And she gets down, and then not like fully keeping low, but just kind of trying to like stay a little out of sight and walk a little nonchalantly. She comes around the side, and you can see her looking where you came from and kind of scanning for something or someone. And then she walks a little bit around. She hasn't necessarily noticed that you've spotted her. Again, she's just walking along. She looks a little crestfallen, and then we'll turn and head back towards the house.
I want to set. I want to let her know I saw her. So in my best disarming voice, as she approaches, I kind of wave briefly, and I'll say, "Oh, you scared me. I got a bad angle on the house, and it looked like you were climbing out the window."
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you.
No, it's quite all right.
You're meeting with my dad?
Oh, my companions are. They're just hoping to store something in his place for a couple of days. I'm just waiting for them to return.
She takes a step forward, and it's only right up in front of you. She goes, "You're not here about the Reverend, are you?"
Well, we heard a lot of stories about the Reverend. We sort of come to see what it's all about, but not
believe them. That man is a snake. That man is a devil walking in another's skin. Don't believe anything you hear.
That's
it's evil.
kind of...
And I'm gonna deal with it. And she takes a step back. She goes,
"Well, that's kind of one of the things we've been hearing. So, I mean, have you noticed that a lot of the other people in town seem to be a bit snaky now?"
Yes. It's his healing touch. It's not healing at all. It's some dark pact, dark powers. He's drawn from inside the earth. But you need to be quiet, because there's more of them than there are of us. And she looks around, and she is going to scurry back towards the house.
Can I make some kind of check to see if I can get her to stay for just another second or two?
Sure. Do you want to make a charm roll would work?
I'm fine with persuade too, if that's better here. Like, if I
more...
could just...
Actually, no. I think it's more charm, because you're just trying to be like friendly and show that you're willing to listen. Persuade is more if you've got it. Like, do you persuade her? What would you say?
Yeah, what I'd like to do is I say, wait. You need to listen. One thing. You've never left Bingham, I bet. Well, we have, and we just want to tell you, there's other people like the Reverend out there in the world, and you need to be real careful. Whatever your plan is, you should tell us, because only some plans work.
Can you make a persuasion roll? This is going to be hard.
What about an extreme?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. She says she sees a kindred spirit, another warrior.
Recruitment. New members who can do this.
She talks to you. She says, she looks back and forth. She says, "So you've dealt with something like this before?"
A few times.
All right. Well, listen. It's my plan. I put it together, and I'm gonna show everyone that I know how to handle myself, and I can fix problems in this town. Listen, I can't tell you everything, because there could be ears everywhere, but it's gonna be on Sunday when they go to worship. That they're not gonna find the church there in the morning. I'm gonna burn it down. I'm gonna burn it all down. Nowhere to worship. Wheels come off, and the connection is severed.
I will nod, and I will say, if you hear the knocking of a bird at your window, it's a friend. Okay, we shouldn't speak anymore until then. You're right. There could be ears everywhere.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. And she looks around, hikes up her so she could run and darts back towards the house. As you watch her retreat, and head towards the house, that's not the only strange thing you notice. It's unclear when this happened, but there is now a very attractive naked woman sunbathing on the roof.
What?
And it's a tin metal roof, so it would be like scalding hot.
Ooh.
And she's laid like splayed against. She's quite pressed up against it. You could only just make her out from the angle you're standing at because you kind of stepped away a little bit to talk to the daughter. But she's like up against it, and you could only just make her out from this angle. No one else would be able to see her easily.
That's very. Hubert goes, oh, and kind of turns away and
Yeah.
stay like that for the entire time.
If
until
you
his friends
take
come
like
back.
a few big steps to the right, you lose. It breaks eye, like you can't see. Yeah.
Okay, I will step accordingly to the right. I think Hubert is well accustomed to people throwing themselves at him.
Yeah.
So.
There's one of many.
Yeah.
The woman is not appear to have noticed you and seems to be just laying there and soaking up the sun.
Hopefully, she didn't pick the conversation. That's the
No,
big
no,
thing.
no, far too far away.
All right.
Far too far away. Okay. We will. So as Hubert steps aside and Lieutenant Carter and Dr. Sam come back down, you'll go to retrieve the flying machine and stow it here. We will park our session shortly, but what I would like to get from each of you, basically just like a general intent for what you wish to do next time. Is there a plan in place? What does it's heading towards midday and then the afternoon? What does the rest of the day in Bingham hold for thee?
Get the flying machine packed away securely.
We've got to get to the church. That's the big thing. We got to see what an actual service looks like, and then
Rip the band-aid off.
Then I think we should, at night time, when presumably all the lizards go to bed, I reckon we should start doing like paths of the desert. See if we can like spot whatever, like if there's a secret temple out there or something. And then if we can't find anything, I reckon I was trying to seed Lancet. We use Lancet to make contact with the daughter.
Oh, I just assumed you'd be knocking like a bird.
No, I was like, we can send Lancet to knock and that with a note or something. And
That's a cool idea.
I mean,
Also,
if we
the
can-
bird hunting the snake, that's such a cool image too. You start defining yourselves by Lancet is so great.
I do think it would possibly be worth, rather than getting the machine packed away, seeing if we can get it set
Unpacking
up.
it.
Because
Yeah.
if we're doing nighttime sweeps or even daytime sweeps to try and
That's pretty
see,
good.
then it's going to take us a lot less time to sweep the area by plane than it is by foot.
That's pretty good. Let's do that. In the dead of night, we take flight.
And I think perhaps then my plan is going to be going to the blacksmith's sermon and attempting to ingratiate myself to see if he's willing to let us set it up in his property so that we can keep it relatively hidden.
Yep.
Or at least like not necessarily in his shed, but like somewhere hidden on his property so that we don't have to deal with that. And if it helps, I don't know whether I would have said it during the conversation while we were sorting it out. If not, I'll mention it sometime before the sermon, but I will mention that I had spoken to Enid.
Okay.
I think the last thing is that there are 4 of us, and the one other clue we have is the saloon. And I think that Minnie should head there.
Minnie's got the pretty direct invite to the church.
Minnie's
is
going to
only
the
thing.
church.
Okay. In which case, I'll head there. I'll head to the saloon.
Okay.
I feel
Alright,
like as
good.
of everyone, you accidentally bumbling into something
Hello! Is there a
is
conspiracy?
something where you could possibly get away with it if you're like, oh, I'm terribly sorry, I didn't know.
Yep. Or I'll just play the heel. Yeah.
Oh, that's it. That is you not going to service. And the sheriff did say to you, like, I'll see you at service and stuff, so.
David, the sheriff is a snake. I don't care what he has to say.
Oh, okay.
That's a strong argument.
Mm.
Damn snakes. Okay. All right. We have our plan, something akin to it. So we will park everything there as the sun hits the apex and midday draws soon, and soon the service of the Reverend Cornfield will begin. And we'll pick that up next week when we return.
Can't
So,
wait.
yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and thank you all for playing. We'll be back next week as we continue our adventures in Oklahoma. Remember, we do have that special stream this Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific for all new players. So tune in for that. And yeah, see you in a week.